Damn it, I didn't turn on the mic. So you missed my opening joke. Damn it. I just said, like, anybody see any good color grade lately? But I forgot to hit the mic button. Sorry. Anyways, what's happening, guys? Welcome to Film Junkee Live. It is the eve before the Superman trailer drops. Of course, tomorrow at 6 a.m. Pacific time. So I'll be, of course, up. I'll be up early and ready to go. And I'm going to film my reaction and maybe a little breakdown. I don't know. We'll see what happens when it comes to all that. But, man, who knew we were going to get a little tease of the teaser trailer, huh? Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you guys are doing good. If you guys had a good hump day, good Tuesday and everything like that. Let's see who's out there. Hey, we got Ninja Gamer right here. Hey, saying something positive to me. That's good. Nervous about tomorrow, and footage looks a little weird. But the Man of Steel-ish noise at the end, it's seeing so many others hearing that what seemed like Zimmer Williams gives me hope for DCU's intents to keep some Snyder feel. There you go. I like what you have to say right there, Ninja Gamer. We got Music Man right here. Look up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's the trailer tomorrow. Good to see you, bud. We got Indiana Jake right here. Hype, 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 hype. Versus Seed. I've only felt excitement since the poster of Suits. Can't wait for tomorrow. Let's not forget Creature Commandos, though. Yeah, I know. I mean, obviously, like, it's not being talked about like the Penguin for sure, but I'm still watching. I'm still keeping up. Like I said, I thought episode 3 last week that came out, thought it was the best episode, and apparently tomorrow is supposed to be, or tonight, I guess you could say, depending on when you watch it. Apparently, this is supposed to be the episode where you go, oh, shit, So, little teases that have already happened, so. Hello, Abel. What's happening? We got Shane O. The short sneak peek of Superman teaser coming for tomorrow looks super awesome and amazingly uses the ad poster phrase look up from the poster pic that was uploaded recently. Truly super. There you go. We got Ozzy right here. Hey, what's happening? Mr. Axel Droga, what is going on, sir? Good to see you. Chris Balga, hey, Dave. Looking at my timeline, I see people excited, nervous, and already trashing Superman. For me, I'm excited to see a new Superman. Nervous because I hope it does well. But I refuse to trash it, as you should, sir. A true DC nerd right there, right? What's going on, Joe? How's it going? Good to see you. All right, and who else we got here? We got Antonio Baker, Indiana Jake saying hi to everybody. Good to see ya. Good to see ya. Let's see. Oh, look at that. Dude, you're awesome, man. We got Jason McKenzie, of course, always helping out the pirate ship as he does. If I had a drink on hand, I would raise it up to you, sir, but don't quite have that. I know. It should be Wine Wednesday. I didn't get any wine. Well, I got a special drink, of course, because technically the vodka stream on Friday is going to be the Christmas episode, so look forward to that. I'll be wearing something. And I'll be drinking some eggnog, as I do every Christmas vodka stream. So, but I'll cheers you then too. But hoy hoy. Best of the season to you and your family, and also fuck the haters. Hypersreal. There you go. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate the super chat. Always helping out that pirate ship. You're awesome. Always great to see you in the chat, sir. We got Rick James, bitch, already here. I don't watch trailers on my phone. I see them in the theater. Also, phones weren't a thing back in my day. That's very true. It's very true. You super freak. Yeah. That's very true. So totally understand not watching stuff on your phone. And to be honest, sometimes it can, when you watch it when I stream stuff to the big screen, especially trailers, it is amazing because you have essentially have 3 different screens. I could watch it on this, I could watch it on my computer monitor, and then I put it on my TV. I mean, you just upgrade and, sometimes things just look good. Better when the screen gets bigger, for sure. But hey, that's just me. We got Aaron right here. What's going on? I like the teaser preview, but my dad, who thought who Superman was really, he really liked it. Okay, so your dad liked it. That's good. The Glove official, James said Snyder inspired him, and I definitely respect it because action-wise, Snyder was great and Dinnerfield. Dinnerfield? Just feels like it could be a mix between all different versions. Yeah. I think that it was pretty much going for it. What's going on, Kenneth? Super excited for the trailer. Yes. We got Hunter right here. Dave, you heard that David Ayer is receiving death threats from... Oh, boy. Well, you know, that's part of the tweets I'm going to talk about. Certain things. I know he tweeted something out today. But, yeah, I'll talk about that. I'll talk about those certain things when it comes to David Ayer. The Black Red. Hey, Dave, sadly the trailer teaser didn't do it for me. Got more hyped from the poster and score snippets. Something just off with some of those shots. But hopefully the full trailer will add some context. So... there you go. And we got Sam right here. I'm pretty fucking hyped. That score mix of Zimmer and Williams. Brilliant. Brilliant. So there you go. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys spending some time with me. Like I said, we're going to be going over. Obviously, yesterday there was a lot of press release because apparently when it came to back in July or whatever on the set in Cleveland, I guess it was, that some people visited the set and got to basically, let me see some, okay, there we go. Sorry, got a notification. But they did some set visits, so we got some, we're going to talk about some certain things that James Gunn has talked about. Of course, go over the beautiful bean footage of the little tease to the trailer. And, you know, it's not something different. I actually had people in my mentions today when I posted it that they were like, what, a tease to the trailer? I'm like, yeah, that's not a new thing. It's not a new thing. It's not anything special. It's just, you know, they're trying to build up as much hype as possible. That's why it's just been an entire week of, like, all of this, which I think it's pretty smart for sure. But, yeah, we're definitely going to be talking about all that, as well as we got Matty Reeves, talking about the Batman Part 2 and why things are taking long and everything like that. And then we got this weekend's box office. We got 2 movies coming out. Sonic 3, and then, of course, Mufasa, a sequel and a prequel coming out this weekend. So we'll go over those reviews. And then Jesse Eisenberg, interviewed recently. He's got his new movie out that he's been promoting, and he reflects on the Lex Luthor role that he took. And, well, sadly, it's not a good reflection, to be honest. And I was like, oh, man, it kind of sucks. And with all the talks of the new DCU stuff, it's just, yeah, it's not all that great, but hey, what could he do? It's all good. Anyway, so yeah, I appreciate you guys coming in. So let's go ahead and get started here. Let's go ahead and go to some tweets. And of course, we got the new Superman poster. We got the new Superman poster on Monday, which beautiful poster. I think it's an absolutely beautiful poster. And a lot of people, of course, you know, there is a theme when it comes to Alex Ross stuff, but you know, what I really love. And, of course, this is the Superman poster right here, naturally right there. But what I love is when artists go like, hey, well, what if we switch it over to Superman, the animated series? That's right. So we got your average bellman right here, at your average bellman, who took it upon himself to make it into Superman, the animated series, which, of course, you guys know I do DC Fanimated, which I am doing tonight, of course. Scott and I will be... talking about a Batman episode tonight on DC Fanimated. So when we've been talking about Superman the Animated Series, so there is a poster right there that somebody created in the vein of the new Superman poster as Superman the Animated Series. You gotta love that. I just love it when people do that stuff. I don't know. I'm just a fan. I'm just a fan of that. Just total fan. Gotta love that. And then I'm a fan of this. Guys. We talked about the first look of Karate Kid Legends. That's right. I don't know why. I'm just like, I think it's just because Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan is just an icon. I mean, I wasn't like a kid. I mean, when I started watching Jackie Chan movies, it was in the 90s. It was when he was making a splash in American cinema, when they were bringing his movies over. When he were bringing his movies over to American cinema, Rumble in the Bronx was the first one I watched, and then of course it went from like, you know, that to Super Cop, The First Strike, to Operation Condor, and then of course I went back, watched like Police Story, Drunken Master. You know, he just he made a splash in the '90s. So as I was, I mean, I was like, you know, I was still a kid, of course, I was still young, and then into my teenage years, he was just an action icon for me. So the fact that we got the full-on trailer, guys, we got the full-on trailer for Karate Kid Legends, and it's a good trailer. It's a damn good trailer. It is a damn good trailer. And you know, for anybody who's wondering, this is canon to Cobra Kai.
Oh, traditions.
Definitely is canon to Cobra Kai. Some people were wondering about that, but it's supposed to take place like a couple years or a few years after the finale of Cobra Kai. But look at this kid. This kid is badass. This kid is badass.
The tree grows strong.
And then of course just hearing Jackie Chan and everything like that, and you could tell he's taken just total pages out of Jackie Chan right here with some of the sequences. And of course there's Ralph Macchio
To Sensei Miyagi.
talking about how he knew Miyagi, which I think that's really cool what they're doing in here.
I'm doing this for all of us.
But I mean, some of the fight choreography just looks like, look at this right here. I mean, that's Jackie Chan stuff right there. Come on. It's so badass. And of course, getting his own headband with the bonsai tree on it. So that's pretty cool. Jackie Chan, Ralph Macchio, and Wang, the new Karate Kid. Come on, that looks so good. That looks so good. Damn, looks really good, man. I mean, you know what? I mean, I still haven't watched the new season of Cobra Kai yet. You know, and I will say, because I say it after every season, I go, what else can they do? And I know, and I get it, Cobra Kai is popular, but I don't know. I was already kind of just like, what else is I'm still going to watch it, but, you know, when I see this, where I'm like, this looks, you know, this looks better than what's going on with Cobra Kai. But I'm kind of wondering, yes, Krampus, and thank you for joining. I'm kind of wondering where Johnny is. Is Johnny going to be a part of this? Or does something happen to Johnny? Something happen to Johnny? Wouldn't that be some shit? Johnny Lawrence. Something happens to him at the end of Cobra Kai. I'm not trying to say I know anything or anything like that, but what if something happens? Oh, I hope he's in it. I really hope he's in it. But that's just kind of like, whoo, I'm just kind of wondering about that. I'm like, because I was talking about it with my cousin, you know, and he was like, where's Johnny? I'm like, that's a good question. I would have thought, like, where's anybody from Cobra Kai in there? That's why I think a lot of people were wondering, is it canon to Cobra Kai? Because it almost doesn't seem like it. It almost seems like this is some alternate universe that Daniel LaRusso was just going to be a part of. But I think that you can't ignore Cobra Kai because of how much a phenomenon it ended up being. So, but that trailer just looks really freaking legit, looks really good. Hey, Dan Lin. Remember Dan Lin, guys? That's right. Good old Danny Lin. And I've told you guys that before, you know, when I saw the Rebel Moon Part 2, not the director's cut, but, you know, Part 2 of Rebel Moon, the, Netflix cut, the PG-13 cut that, you know, when I went to the bathroom, I actually peed next to Dan Lin. And, you know, Dan Lin, there's been something about Dan Lin ever since I found out who he was, when he was almost going to get the job at DC Studios, when that job was up for grabs before James Gunn and Peter Safran took over to run DC Studios. Dan Lin was in the mix. And then there was like a whole thing where it's like, is he on a podcast? Did he say something about Snyder fans and blah, 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 and Snyder himself? And then I was hearing things, and I don't know. It's just kind of interesting. But then, of course, he gets the job to lead the film department, the film unit for Netflix. And a lot of people were just like, oh, yeah, well, you know, Dan Lin, he seems like a good guy. He doesn't hate Zach and everything like that. I don't think he hates Zach or anything. I think that's good. But I don't know, you know, when it comes to Dan Lin being a good guy, I don't know. He did something naughty. Dan Lin's learning curve and AI Chris Nolan. It's been a while since I checked in on Dan Lin, the producer turned semi-new head of Netflix's film unit, whose cost-cutting mandate and curt bedside manner hasn't exactly endeared him to the town's talent brokers. This detail may not help. At his group's holiday party this month, Lin used an AI-generated Christopher Nolan voice to narrate a video highlighting the year's wins for The Division. AI-generated Christopher Nolan voice. Yes, the filmmaker who famously will not work with Netflix was deployed via the technology everyone is terrified of to laud the accomplishments of the streaming service that is often criticized as anti-movie theater. Very Hollywood 2024, naturally AI. And Nolan had some very nice things to say about Netflix, I'm told. Netflix confirmed the Nolan anecdote, but declined to comment, as did Nolan's rep. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? What? What are you doing, Danny Lin? Huh? Running your head into a door? That's what you're doing. Wow. Wow. How did you think that was a good idea? How did you think that was a good idea? Really? Good idea. Christopher Nolan, who's very old school, who didn't want to work with you, you were going to use his AI voice? You could have used any voice, just a British voice. Wow. This guy almost ran DC Studios. This is the guy who kind of shit on Snyder fans, too. I mean, I'm just saying. Jesus Christ. I should have peed on his foot. When I was peeing next to him in the next stall. Should have did it. I can't believe that. I mean, apparently they confirmed that they used it. They confirmed they used the voice. But of course, declined to comment. And then I'm kind of wondering, is Christopher Nolan going to go after him? He damn well should. He didn't authorize that shit. He damn well should. Oh, man. Crazy. That's just crazy. Dan Lin. I know some people were championing Dan Lin at one time. Oh, no, he's good. You know, sadly, it's the people who think that, you know, sell the, you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, so, and then you want another alternate version of the new Superman poster? Well, I have another alternate version right here, and this is from Johnny Geek Art, and I love this right here because why not keep the theme? I think there needs to be just a little bit more of the colorful spectrum in it, though. But he made this version right here of the, you know, a different hero, Supergirl. There you go. Hey, rise up. And put rise up as opposed to look up right here. So that's pretty cool. I'm kind of wondering if, you know, what her costume exactly is going to look like. She's definitely going to have the skirt. There's no way that she doesn't have the skirt. I mean, we're moving back to that whole kind of notion of like, I mean, I know it's like, you know, the last Supergirl we saw, she had the full bodysuit, which is not bad. If they end up doing a full bodysuit, then fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But, you know, it was always something when it came to Supergirl. She had the skirt. So I'm just like, I think they're going to go back with the skirt, you know? They'll go back with the skirt. That's pretty good right there. So good job, Johnny Geek Art right there. Good job on you. And then check this out, guys. You know, tis the Christmas season right here. And, you know, Santa is going to be visiting soon. And what better Santa to have than this Santa right here? That's right. Somebody caught video right here because they were shooting a Christmas movie. And I forgot about this, but Arnold Schwarzenegger as Santa. There he is. Got a sweater on, got some hair on the top of his head, got the beard growing.
Arnold, good morning.
We're surrounded by his security and everything, so. There he is right there, yeah. Getting ready to go. Yeah, Alan Richson's going to be in that movie too. So, yeah, Santa the Barbarian. I love that. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is, man. Arnold as Santa. We're getting an Arnold Santa Claus. Hey, why not? Why not? You know, I mean, he's up there in age. I mean, you could tell, you know, he's not, you know, he's walking a little, you know, but that's just the way it is. Dude's abused his body. He abused his body for years. So, of course, he's, you know, feeling it. But he's still in pretty damn good shape. Still looking pretty sharp when it comes to that. So, should be interesting to see. That'll be out next year, of course. You know, they're filming it right now. They're definitely filming it right now. Okay. All right. So David Ayer. Now, I've been talking about how David Ayer's been very vocal when it comes to the Ayer cut. Last week, he participated in a fan campaign to get some more images from the Ayer cut out there in hopes that, hey, you know, let's ring the bell a little bit more and let's get some more backing behind the Ayer cut. So maybe, you know, show the fan demand and everything like that. And I covered it all. The problem I had when it came to this, and we discussed it last week, was the fact that I was like, oh, the fan campaign. Well, it was actually 2 weeks ago, I should say, not a week ago. It was like 2 weeks ago. It was the debut of Creature Commandos, the first 2 episodes of Creature Commandos. And I thought, I don't know if you want to, like, you know, poke that bear a little bit and everything like that. And David Ayer decided to tweet today that, hey, you know, well, I'll just show the tweet right here, because now he's kind of going like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have taken part in that campaign. I didn't realize James was dropping Creature Commandos when the last Ayer cut campaign hit. The new Superman trailer is dropping soon, and I know there's intentions of another campaign for my version of Squad. As a filmmaker, I want to support other filmmakers. I'm excited to see the trailer and have heard through the rumor mill it's pretty incredible. I just want to publicly say it would be nice to stay clear of Thursday for any campaigning. I appreciate everyone hearing me out. At the end of the day, I'm riding a tiger here. Just going in hurt on this. So he's coming out and just basically saying, like, yeah, I didn't really realize that when I was doing all this and stuff like that. And, you know, I don't know if he's feeling a little guilty about it. I don't know. I think he is feeling a little guilty. Maybe. Or maybe he's just kind of realizing it and stuff like that. So, you know, he did tweet that right there. But he also followed it up. Because sadly, he decided to be like, you know, he tweeted out James Gunn's tweet when it came to the teaser of the Superman trailer. He did do all that, and then, you know, even saying that, and then he followed it up with this tweet right here, and it just kind of makes me go like, oh man, you don't want a follow-up tweet like this. My lord, if supporting another filmmaker is so contentious, I'm just lost at this point. When I was a kid, I had a nightmare childhood. My best friends were comic books. They held me and gave me company when no one else did. Batman spoke to my injured soul. Superman's optimism was an example how to see the world without darkness. I cannot fucking wait to see James' trailer. Real talk. And I cannot wait to see his film, and absolutely am sure he crushed it, because that simple optimism of Superman is all over it. And the little kid in me needs that right now. I'm a bad guy for that? So be it. I do troll what I can control. And can't wait. Well, let's see. Can't what I can't. Sorry, I said that wrong. Gonna step back from all this for a moment. Heart. Because sadly, his supporters, when he sees them support James Gunn, they get their panties in a fucking bunch. Just like right up the ass crack. They're just like, God damn it, David Ayer. Fuck. Why are you doing this? This hurts. This is what I was talking about. This was my only criticism of the whole campaign that happened during the debut of all that. I'm going to talk about this more on the members only stream, which we do after this. I'm going to talk about this a little bit more because maybe I have just more a little unique knowledge when it comes to that. So, you members, look forward to talking about that a little more. I might have just a little tea when it comes to stuff like that and everything, but yeah, just kind of shows you right here. And this is the stuff that upsets me about all this stuff because, yes, there was going to be another campaign tomorrow for the Ayer cut. There was going to be another one. And it's just like, what are you guys doing? And he didn't want to, he was like, no, don't do it, guys. What are we doing here? Let's not do this. This is a filmmaker supporting a filmmaker, which is what the Snyder Cut movement was all about. What do I keep saying? Some of these guys lost the messaging of that movement. And these filmmakers do not support that. Zack included. He wouldn't support that shit. He doesn't. So what are you doing? Oh, but that's not it. Because, yeah, okay, so there's not going to be an Ayer cut campaign tomorrow, but you know what? There is going to be another campaign from the same people, from the same group in the fandom. They're going to be doing another campaign tomorrow, and it has to do with Henry Cavill as Superman. That's right. I saw the poster. There's a poster. If you look on Twitter, there is a poster about that. So there's going to be a whole campaign for hashtag Henry Cavill Superman and, of course, Restore. And, yeah, it's a ridiculous poster because, well, let's see. I'm not going to bring up the poster right now. I don't even know where it's at. I don't care to bring up the poster. But yes, they're going to be, instead of doing Ayer cut stuff, they're going to still be equally as petty and do a campaign to bring Henry Cavill back as Superman. And it's kind of funny because when you see the poster has Zack Snyder's quote on it. When he was asked, like, hey, if you could get the licensing for your universe, the Snyderverse, would you complete your story? And he said, absolutely, I would, and blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, cool. So the campaign, apparently, according to this poster, when I'm looking at this and you have Zack Snyder's quote, that has that right there. So that means, okay, so this campaign's going to get, so then Zack, Stone Quarry? Or is this a Netflix thing where they're going to get the rights to Snyderverse? All right, somebody pull out a calculator again, because again, you got to start looking at logistics here and start looking at, you got to start adding up some money here. So licensing, I don't know how much that's going to cost. It's going to cost something. And on this poster, also had the Ayer cut, which that's what we want to get out. Definitely. A lot of people are backing that up. And that seems to be like obviously the easiest thing to get out. And, $6 to $7 million right there to complete the Ayer cut, which is hopefully that does happen. Hopefully it could happen next year with the 10-year anniversary. Could be something right there. Or, well, that's not the 10-year anniversary, or maybe 2 years from now it could get that. Or whatever. But also on this poster, because Henry Cavill, guys, Henry Cavill is sitting around waiting for fans to just rise up, because he's waiting to get back into the Superman costume. So on this poster is also Man of Tomorrow, which is a direct sequel to Man of Steel. So his own solo movie is on the poster. So he's going to get Man of Tomorrow, and the first Man of Steel movie back in, over 10 years ago is $220 million. So you can maybe it'll be around the same or something like that. Batfleck, the Batfleck movie's on there. That might be a little less. So maybe it'd be under 200 million. 180 maybe could be for that. And then of course the two Justice League sequels. So Henry Cavill, is waiting to do those three movies tomorrow. And what better time for fans to rise up than when the debut of the new Superman trailer comes up. And, it's not like Henry Cavill's just waiting around. It's not like he's filming the Voltron movie right now. The Voltron movie. It's not like he has the Highlander reboot franchise that's coming up, or the Warhammer movie that he's very excited for. And then he also has a kid on the way. So, but that's besides the point. He's waiting to get back into the Superman suit to complete his story. And fans are going to come out in full force to achieve that. They're going to come out and achieve that for him. So Cavill, you just wait, and hopefully he's ready to post on his Instagram about it and everything like that, because, screw what's happening with the DCU and James Gunn and this new Superman and David Cornsweet and all that stuff like that. It's time to get Cavill back. Oh, but wait, they just wanted an Elseworlds. It's supposed to be, okay, so So the money that they're throwing at the DCU, they could throw, pretty much over $1 billion over here, for anyways. Okay. I'm done ranting off because when I saw that poster, I was like, holy shit, you guys really lost the fucking message. You guys really lost the message. And you got David Ayer right here just basically going like, whoa, fans, whoa. Anyways, I get frustrated, guys. Sometimes I just get frustrated, but hey, what could he do? What could he do? Anyways, Death of a Unicorn. Did you guys see this fucking trailer? Holy Lord, this looks really good. A24.
Ridley?
We got Jenna Ortega. We got Paul Rudd. A24 random crazy movie about a father and a daughter.
I get this feeling I don't think we're supposed to be here.
Hitting a unicorn on the road. A24.
Donated this entire
Are rare.
This looks absolutely insane.
What exactly are we saying this is, though?
I think
Not gonna show the whole thing, but my God, does this look insane?
Immortality.
Look at that. It's like a horror movie with a unicorn. A24, what the hell is happening?
That horn was rather girthsome.
Girthsome. It's kind of funny though because she wears like a red hoodie, and I'm like going, does that have any significance? Just seems like it stands out. Is this gonna be like a off take of like some fairy tales and shit like that? This looks really cool. This looks really cool right here. So that trailer came out today too, and I was like, okay, I'm down for this. This looks like a good time. Looks like a good time for sure. So really like that. And then we got Jurassic World Rebirth. That's right, Entertainment Weekly. They got a preview. We got some more images of Jurassic World Rebirth that is also coming out in July of next year. And here we go. So we got some jungle, swampy, watery shot right here of, there's Scarlet Joe. I forgot what this guy's name is, and I don't know who the other two are, but, And, of course, Mahershala Ali's in there, too, so yeah, we got some shots. Hey, look up, right? Anyways, there's Scarlet Joe. Yeah, that's right. And then there she is again with, I forget what his name, something Mackie or something like that? I don't know. So we got some images. Looks very Lost World-like, but there's still no images of dinosaurs. We've gotten images, first looks at this movie, but there's no images of dinosaurs yet. I mean, obviously, the dinosaurs are going to be mainly CGI, of course, so that kind of makes sense, but I just figured that maybe there was going to be some kind of animatronics, a little bit at least, Can we have just a little bit of practical and a little bit of CGI? I don't know. But hey, we got some. I'm gonna be watching it. I mean, July of next year. Let's face it, folks. It's gonna be I'm gonna be watching all the shit, all of it, man. So, looking forward to it. All right, and what else we got? Oh, and then speaking of another movie that's coming out the end of July, well, I don't even know if I should show this, guys. Should I show this? Maybe I shouldn't, or show it for a brief moment, because what movie is coming out? What movie also is coming out with Superman, with Jurassic World? Well, Fantastic Four, what the hell is this? I don't know, some kind of patch that shows the entire group, and look at how they look. They look great. Everything looks good right there. Am I going to get... I don't know if I should show that, but... that was just something, little crumbs that came out, little patch. Luckily, Marvel Studios, Disney, they don't really give a shit when it comes to certain things. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't, but there you go. There's a little patch right there showing everybody in their form, in their fully formed, wearing the costumes and everything. You got Johnny Storm that's fully just flame on going right there. The Thing looks like he's ripped straight out of the comic books right there, so... yeah, I'm going to get in trouble for that one. Watch. I'm going to get in trouble for that one. I hope not. But, hey, it might happen. Who knows? It might happen, but hopefully it doesn't, like I said. It's marketing. It's marketing, right, guys? It's marketing. Mr. Fantastico. Mr. Fantastico. But, yeah, July of next year, I'm like, what? I get a Superman movie? I get a Jurassic World movie with Scarlett Johansson wearing tank tops and hopefully tight jeans? I don't know. And I get a Fantastic Four movie. Hey, July next year is just going to be, it's Christmas in July next year for me. At least, you know? I'm just saying. For me, at least. All right, let's talk about this Superman teaser to the trailer. First off, guys, this is not a new thing. When I remember when the whole thing dropped and people were like, what the hell, a teaser to the trailer? I'm like, guys, it's not a new thing. It's not a new concept. What are we doing here? It's not a new concept. This is something that's very much been done before where, yeah, they're trying their best to build up this trailer because there's a lot riding on it. And we're going to talk about a certain thing, a certain article when it comes to all of this that really shows that, yeah, that even, you know, James Gunn knows, you know, a lot of people know there's a lot riding on this whole thing. You know, it's essentially the official start of this new universe. So there's a lot riding on it. So, of course, they're going to be building up, and it went from like, okay, so they released the motion poster yesterday, a little bit of the theme. We talked about it. It's all, you know, a lot of people were, a lot of positivity, a lot of positivity when it comes to all this. And then, of course, yesterday, a lot of things, like when it came to interviews, journalists went out in July to Cleveland, I guess, and talked to James Gunn and stuff like that. Got some details, which we're going to go over. Some of the details that came out of that. And then, of course, tomorrow is the official trailer. Like I said, 6 a.m. Pacific time. I'll be up and early. I'll be doing a reaction to it and maybe just a little breakdown as part of my video as well. So look forward to that. And then, of course, we'll be discussing it and breaking it down even more on the Vodka stream on Friday with a panel, which will be great. So we got a teaser to the trailer, and it's just like, holy crap. So we get a little sense of what's going on right here. And just in case you haven't seen it, which I think you guys have all seen it, but hey, here we go. Let's watch it in full screen. Full screen. This is not just a portrait mode like at first, so. Ooh. What? From James Gunn. Look up. Go, Superman, go. Trailer tomorrow. What's my first reaction? Those outside shots of those guys looking up don't look that great. Hey, they don't. Okay? Yes. They don't. Color palette, though. What's going on with the color grade, the color palette, and everything like that? Jesus Christ, guys. I have deja vu again. Wait a minute. What's happening, guys? I could have swore, like, I don't know, like 11 years ago or something like that. Even like, you know, when it came to that certain Batman versus Superman movie that came out, here I am. We're talking about color palettes again because, man, did people shit on the color palette when it came to those movies. Now we're talking about color grade and palettes again? What the hell's going on? It's all a cycle. It's all a cycle. Because when it comes to these certain shots, and let's go back to it. First off, let's go ahead and mute this right here. First off, this shot of the Daily Planet, gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Love this shot right here. It is a beautiful shot, and I'm kind of wondering if we're ever going to get if we're going to get a shot of like Superman zipping around this thing or whatever the hell. But we have the globe on top of the building, and I like this. I really love this shot right here. I think it's absolutely great. Then we got the shot of the crew, the Daily Planet crew right here. So we get our first little glimpse of the crew. So we got Rachel Brosnahan. Oh, that's right. Standing right there. We get her Lois Lane. She looks great. We got Kat Grant right there wearing a very low-cut dress. Of course, she is, and there's nothing wrong with that. We got Jimmy. We got everybody. We got the whole crew right here. Now, I think this shot looks good as well. I'm okay with the color palette right here. Because, I mean, we saw from the behind-the-scenes shots, we saw from the behind-the-scenes photos, the set photos, that, yeah, it seems like James Gunn's going for, like, some kind of retro future kind of aesthetic, a different aesthetic, a lot of browns, a lot of dark colors, a lot of, tan and those kind of colors. I don't know. To me, especially in full screen, this shot, I think this actually looks like a pretty good shot, and apparently, they're looking up at a TV screen. Apparently, That's what I'm thinking what's happening. Now what are they looking at? Who knows? Who knows? Superman maybe is fighting somebody. Who knows right here? But I actually like this shot a lot right here. Okay? I have no issues with the color palette right here at all. Okay, and then of course we have the James Gunn. It's these outside shots. These outside shots feel very blown out. I don't know what's going on with these outside shots, but they I don't know. I don't know why that the outside shots don't look that great. This shot looks good. I don't mind this shot right here. I like the blues and I like the retro. I like the blue right here and I like the retro. Seems like the inside shots, to me, I have no problems with. I actually like this shot right here too. I like the way the chairs look and everything looks kind of retro. I really dig this. It's the outside shots. Oh, and then of course we get a little glimpse. We get a little glimpse of some flying Superman. Now, is Superman chasing after somebody through the ice? Which of course, this just means he's close to the Fortress of Solitude right here. And, you know, I do, and again, the best part of the Superman costume is the emblem on the back. And I'm glad that it's there, to be honest. So he might be chasing after somebody right there. Tomorrow. See, again, so bright. So bright. I don't know. There's something about these outside shots, these almost like second unit shots that just don't really look that great. They just don't look good. This looks very fan film to me, I will say. Very fan film. And even this shot right here in this tent that is Luthor core, yeah, there's still something very off about, I don't know. There's just something off about that. There's just something off. And then look up. And then, of course, we get a shot, you know, in the vein of like a Man of Steel where he just leaps up into the air and it goes up, but a little bit different. Which that's a pretty good shot. That's a good shot right there, too. That's a good shot right there. So, yeah, those outside shots that look like second unit shots look very fan filmy, and that's what's interesting about it. So that is my only gripes when it comes to that. It was just like, what? Wait a minute. Why does it look like that? That is very interesting. But James Gunn, of course, being James Gunn and answering questions on threads or whatever the hell and something like that. But somebody was actually asking about, you know, the Superman and stuff like that, Superman trailer and everything. Someone said, won't watch this until, of course, a live stream reaction and everything like that. And the Daily Planet, Dodge, blah, blah, blah. Just so you know, only one of these shots is in the teaser for the teaser. And then only partially is in the actual teaser. What? Yeah. So I'm willing to bet that, okay, so none of those outside shots, the ones that I'm griping about, probably aren't going to be. And I think they're just really leaning into the look up campaign. So they're getting a bunch of people looking up. They're really leaning into the tagline. That's why you're getting nothing but people doing that. Those outside shots most likely are not going to be in the trailer, which I'm going good because they don't look good. They just don't look good. In my eyes, they don't look good. I do like the Daily Planet when they're looking up. That's a good shot for me. That's a good shot. And I'm assuming that some of the flying shots are also going to be there too. Also going to be there. But it's just kind of funny where it's like, oh yeah, so, and that's also not a first too. There's times where it's like you get the tease to the trailer, they'll put a different footage in that, so then we get even more footage right there. So if you're hating this, guess what? You get more footage to hate on tomorrow. It's all good. You'll be able to hate on the footage all throughout the weekend. It'll be good, guys. It'll be good. So if you're hating on that, but for the people who are loving this, hey, guess what? You get more footage to love. So there's something for everybody. That's all I'm kind of saying here, folks. There's something for everybody. You either get more to hate on or you get more to love. Okay? And we could all be happy, right? I'm just saying. We could all be happy. But, you know. But it is kind of funny when it comes to color palette, color grading and stuff like that. I'm like, serious deja vu. Serious deja vu because I don't know how many times I've had to defend Snyder's color palette, which I've always loved his color palette because certain things always pop. I always love his color palettes for all his movies. And then when it came to this, it was like, what that? And I'm like, yeah, okay. But I actually, the shots on the inside look okay to me because I'm like, you got this retro future thing going on right here. And I'm like, okay, I'm kind of digging that. I don't know. For me, I'm digging that. It's just those outside shots that just don't look good. They look very like, it's just too bright, too whatever. So that's how I feel about all that. So yeah. So it's very interesting. And it's just like I said, I feel like I'm in deja vu again. Like, what the fuck? What are we doing here? So anyways, and let's see, we'll save that for last. Okay. So when it came to James Gunn talking about some of this stuff right here, I'm just going to like I said, there was like multiple articles that came out essentially just talking about the same thing when it came to story details and details when it came to all this. I kind of pulled Collider's article right here. So let's just we'll just kind of go through it right here. So the first thing that they talk about right here, Superman puts audiences in the action right from the beginning. Okay? So right from the beginning, this is what James Gunn had to say right here. We just start in the middle of the action. Superman's already existing. Lois and Clark already know each other. Lex hates Superman's guts from the beginning, naturally, although they don't know each other personally. So we start right in the middle of the action. It takes place over a short amount of time. So this is a short time frame. Obviously, everybody knows who each other are, but I'm kind of wondering, has there been an interaction between Lex Luthor and Superman? Are we going to get a moment where Superman's outside his window, arms crossed, as he's floating there, and his cape's floating right there? Be kind of cool. I mean, that would kind of, that's kind of like what you need in a Superman movie with Lex Luthor. You need Superman floating above Lex Luthor and them talking, You need that. You had that in Donner Superman. We've had that in Lois and Clark. I'm sure that was also in Superman and Lois at one point. It's been in the animated series. I don't know if that was that in Superman Returns. Was there a moment like that in Superman Returns? Probably, maybe not. It was a different kind of story. And then we had a moment like that in Batman vs. Superman too. So you always want to have something like that, right? Yeah. Well, let's see. It was really just putting us in the middle. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. All right. And then another thing right here. Another little tidbit right here. Superman's action was partially inspired by Top Gun Maverick. That's right. Top Gun Maverick. And the reason why he's saying like this, here's the quote from James Gunn right here. And being able to shoot stuff in the sky like that is really hard. So shooting stuff actually in the sky. So we took a lot from films like Top Gun Maverick. We shoot a lot of our action with actual drones flying in and around Superman and the people that he's flying with, like the engineer. Whoever else? What? Some more flying people? Well, Hawk Girl maybe. It's going to be interesting. That he's fighting up in the air. And of course, right here it says, like, when it comes to all that, engineer, whoever else, that he's fighting up in the air. And we did that on sound stages. We got these really small, crazy drones now. Wow, drones. There's been a lot of drone talk recently, right? We've got some of the best flyers in the world here who are working with it. And so we use those guys a lot, and everything's planned out with me as it always is. Of course, he's being the director. So we actually got drone cameras. So that's going to be something that's going to add a little bit to Superman flying, okay? That's what's going to be different than what has happened before, is the fact that there is the drone technology with cameras on it, and a lot of action directors have been utilizing those. You see those crazy shots, you go like, how the fuck did they do that? Well, they strap a camera to a drone. So there's going to be some drone shots when it comes to Superman flying. And then, of course, one of the things he talks about, too, tonally, Superman is different from anything James Gunn has done before. Now, naturally, the people who hate James Gunn say, yeah, bullshit. What are we talking about? It's going to be the same old shit. No, but, apparently it's not going to be like the Suicide Squad. It's not going to be like Peacemaker. It's not going to be like Guardians of the Galaxy. So for me, this is about coming at something from the inside. Wow, talking dirty there. Relax there, James Gunn. So how can Nicholas Hoult tell you what Lex is like? It's like he's coming from an interior place. It's not so different with the tone of the film. I know what it feels like to me. I know the texture. I know that it's something different than I've ever done before. But how can I then translate that to you guys on the outside? Because I start with a place that's very hopeful, fun, but incredibly serious, all at the same time. I like that. So it's not going to be the similar tone. He even talked about the fact that, when it comes to the soundtrack, which is the next thing, when it comes to the soundtrack, it's not going to be anything like the other ones and a bunch of needle drops right there. The biggest thing that I was kind of wondering myself, and this is the quote right here. This is the quote right here, and I posted it on Twitter myself because one of the things I said on Monday's show, guys, was, yeah, okay, you're not doing the direct John Williams score. You're not doing the direct John Williams score. You're doing kind of like a modern, a different take, a modern take, I guess you could say, changing it up a little bit. And I'm like, okay, but I hope there's actually a definitive score. He says right here, there's nods to Williams, and then also John Murphy's created this incredibly beautiful score. But the one thing is it is a score. It's not a soundtrack, so it's not about the songs. There's a few songs in it, of course, naturally. It is a James Gunn movie. And of course, I chose those songs beforehand, but it isn't like any of my previous movies. Really, in terms of the score is what drives it. It's much, much more of a score film. So I'm like, thank you. Thank you. So we're not going to hear that Starman the Starman fucking David Bowie's Starman song. Stop putting that on everything. Man, people keep on doing that. It's not going to happen. Let's stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Okay, so why? Okay, I'm going to have to bring up another thing. Okay. So another thing you talked about, all previous DC material influenced James Gunn's take on the new DC universe. What? Influence? Are you kidding me? Of course there's going to be influence. What do I always say, guys? What have I said for so long? Find the balance between Donner and Snyder. Find the balance. And I always said, the balance, you know what the blueprint for that fucking balance is? It's the very thing that Scott McClellan and I talk about, not every week because we go back and forth between Batman and Superman, but Superman the Animated Series. Superman the Animated Series, I always felt that that was a good balance for a blueprint. You can find it right there. Find it right there, and guess what he said right here? Let's go ahead and see what he said right here. I think that all previous DC media influenced me, which is a good thing. I think that obviously the original Donner movie influenced me, but of course he goes through that, and then he says like, it's very different from that. So it's not, I know some people think, oh yeah, he's just doing Donner. It's like, well, there's going to be some influence, but guess what? Who else he talks about right here? Zack Snyder did some excellent stuff, and there's a lot of ways that influenced me. What? Zack influenced? Of course, he has to. There's a lot of ways in which the DC animated universe influenced me. And there's a lot of stuff from the comic books above and beyond everything else, All-Star Superman, that influenced me more than anything. And of course, you could see it even in this trailer. You could hear it in the music. Of course, there's going to be influence right there. I still wish I was a fly on the wall when Zach and James actually talked about some of this stuff. And I'm kind of even curious, like, is Zach ever going to mention, like, looking forward to seeing what James has to do? Is he ever going to talk about it and stuff like that? I mean, if anything, if, like, Zach gets interviewed from now until July, someone's going to ask him about it, and I'm kind of curious of what he says about it. But, of course, there's going to be influence, which is good. There should be. Absolutely, and I'm glad that he's saying that. So, and then, of course, he talks about Lex Luthor, saying that to take sort of a Silver Age feel, that sort of science fiction approach to it with Gadget, Lex is really a sort of sorcerer in a way. He's a scientist, but he's so good at science that I think of him as like a sorcerer. So everything influenced me. And then it's like something that's completely us. And again, if you look at the Lex Luthor in the animated universe, especially Superman the animated series, yeah, okay, we have different takes of Lex, but let's get like that version, more of that version of Lex, who just hates Superman, but he's so goddamn smart. So goddamn smart that he's almost like a sorcerer. It's a good way to put it. And then, of course, Clark and Lois's relationship is unlike what we've seen in any superhero movie. That seems like a little bit of hyperbole, right? Of course, they're going to like put it up a little bit. But, you know, they talk about that and the relationship between, you got David and Rachel, and of course their on-screen chemistry, which was always like the thing that he was trying to do when it came to the short list of Lois and Clark. It was like, all right, we got to make sure that they have like great chemistry. But he says right here, it's a complicated relationship. Yeah, you think? And we really get into it, and there's a long scenes that are about their relationship and the way they relate and what it would be like for a person who's incredibly intelligent, strong-headed, stubborn, skeptical journalist to have a relationship with someone who can lift a skyscraper. Let's hope he doesn't actually lift a skyscraper in this movie. You know, the physics are all kind of weird. Anyways, no, but it's, yeah. So it's kind of interesting to be like, okay, so obviously she knows who Clark, she's already got a relationship, a working relationship at least with Clark. She knows who Superman is. So we're already going to get into that mix. I'm kind of curious of like how they approach that. One of the things I liked what Zach did when it came to Man of Steel, and I think it was a very fresh and unique approach to it, was the fact that Lois already knew who Superman was before he even became Clark Kent Daily Planet reporter. And I like that approach because his approach was like, it's Pulitzer Prize winning Lois Lane. She's not going to get fooled by a pair of glasses. Now, some people didn't like that because they just like the approach that, Clark has to figure out a way to like, hey, I gotta be Superman right now. How do I do that? And I'm hanging out with Lois and stuff like that. Now, there's always like the approach, obviously, like when it came to Donner, when it came to other versions too, where it's like, okay, she eventually is going to figure it out. So I'm just kind of wondering, like, does she already have suspicions? That's what I'm kind of wondering. Like, how much does she actually know and stuff like that? And it's interesting. So. And then, of course, there was mentions that, again, we've already talked about it, how James Gunn doesn't want to, like, 100% always want to set up the next movie. I mean, there's going to be things that, are going to be put in place that expand the universe, but he doesn't want to make it, like, 100% a thing, with, like, post-credit scenes and stuff like that. But there's always going to be, like, a little thing. He was like, he emphasized that as well. And then, of course, we talked about David Cornsweet and his audition process and how he auditioned as both, Superman and Clark. That does make sense. Now we got the controversial part of Superman. And what's that controversial part? Well, that is the Superman chonies. That's right, guys. When I posted this on my Twitter, oh yeah, there was nothing but normal back and forth conversation between grown men about Superman chonies underneath my post on Twitter. Yeah, it got ugly. Of course it did. It got ugly, and I couldn't believe it. I didn't even really engage. I engaged a little bit. I've actually been pretty good. I haven't been sassy Dave. I wasn't sassy Dave, guys, but there was like a lot of conversation about Superman's chonies underneath my mentions, and it was kind of crazy. And it was like where I was defending James Gunn and I was defending Zack Snyder, because obviously Zack didn't go with the chonies, but it's even in the behind the scenes when they talk about the Superman costume for Man of Steel that he looked at hundreds of designs and tried to make the undies work. And he knew where the undies came from when it came to the whole circus, strongman, and everything. That's the emphasis of the chones right there, because that's what they wore, just to chones. And of course, you're seeing how strong they are and whatever the hell. But Zack was telling a different story. And his costume was alien origin, so why the hell would you have chonies on the outside of that? And that's why that costume looks so gorgeous, because it's alien wear. It's alien wear, not like the computer, but alien wear. So when it came to this right here, when it came to the Superman chones right here, well, you can blame David Cornsweet for this one, folks. You can. because this is what James Gunn had to say right here. And David said something to me that really affected me. We were trying on all of these different versions, and we screen test with trunks and no trunks. And one of the things David said is that Superman wants kids to not be afraid of him. He's an alien. He's got these incredible powers. He shoots beams out of his eyes, can blow the truck over. I should say that a lot better. He can blow. Anyways. He's this incredibly powerful, could be considered scary individual, and he wants people to like him. He wants to be a symbol of hope and positivity. So he dresses like a professional wrestler. He dresses in a way that makes people unafraid of him. That shows that. I don't know. I'd be kind of afraid of somebody who's wearing underwear outside of the uniform. Anyways, I'd be like, "You sure you're okay, buddy? You sure you're okay? And I think you should have put the undies on first. You should have put I'm just kidding." Anyways, and I was like, that really clicked in for me. I think trying to pretend that Superman's costume doesn't have some frivolity to it and its base, trying to make it look serious is silly because he is a superhero. He's got a point there. You're wearing a cape and tights. You look ridiculous, okay? Obviously, it could look pretty cool, sure. But, as we get further and further through this fucking timeline that we're living in, you kind of go, a cape? Really? He's the first one brightly colored. That's who he is. The first one brightly colored, as in everybody else has more dull colors, I guess. And so that's where we landed, and eventually we all came to a place where almost all of us agreed on trunks. So there you go. There's the emphasis on the trunks. And then, of course, naturally, I got people going, bullshit. No. He ran a poll on Twitter. It's because of Twitter, because this movie is completely done by Twitter, cast by Twitter, made by Twitter. It's all because of Twitter. I'm like, guys, two things can also be truth. It could have been like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't do the trunks. And then David Corenswet said that, okay. So instead of like the strongman circus act, okay, it could be a wrestler type and we could utilize it like that. That kind of clicks. And then maybe it's like, well, let's run a fucking poll and see what people say on Twitter. Because when he ran the poll on Twitter, guess what won? The trunks. People wanted the trunks. People voted for the trunks. So maybe that just helped it along. Okay? Two things can be right, guys. That's the thing. And I remember just seeing those responses. I'm like, yeah, that could also be true. It's like, you have a point, and yeah, let's run a fucking poll and see what people are. I don't know. I'm like, okay, cool. And then, of course, he talks about the supporting cast. I think it was just who I wanted, honestly. I love Mr. Terrific. These characters all get their moments in the sun, talking about how they're not just cameos, because obviously a lot of people are always going like, Jesus Christ, how many cameos are in here? I'm like, no, they're supporting characters. They're literally part of the cast. They don't just show up and then fly away. They are part of scenes. They're supporting cast, but Mr. Terrific is the main character of those characters. So, out of all the heroes that we know in there, Mr. Terrific is the star of that little cast right there. He's actually a big part of the plot, and so that was fun. And, of course, getting to work with Nathan Fillion is always something, and putting him in a stupid look. See, I love the fact that James Gunn knows how ridiculous some of this stuff is. And yes, Nathan Fillion looks absolutely ridiculous in that wig that he's wearing for Guy Gardner. And then, of course, Isabella Merced is great. I've been a fan of hers for a long time, but it was about balance. And that's what it's always about, guys. It's always about balance. So there's all that. Okay, so that's basically the gist of it. But there's one other thing, too, and it's kind of interesting, and it just kind of shows you right here that there is a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure for Superman to work. Now, does it have to make $1 billion? No. I've never been part of that whole it has to make $1 billion thing. I've always hated that. I've always taken the math of like, no, it has to make close to a profit, break even, whatever the hell. And who knows? We don't know the official budget. Hopefully the budget's not that crazy. Hopefully the budget... Oh, almost knocked over my screen right here, leaning onto it. Hopefully the budget's not that too crazy, but this was, I think this was on Gizmodo right here. This was like pulled from here. When we spoke with Gunn on the set of Superman a year from release, he was pretty overwhelmed for a lot of reasons. I'm miserable, he said. Really, I'm miserable, but hopefully it's for the greater good. One of the reasons for that seemed to be the pressure he's putting on himself to make sure his version of Superman is great, because if it's not, there's no guarantee we'll see more DC movies after that. There's a plan, one that involves Creature Commandos, Peacemaker, Supergirl, and others. But if Superman doesn't work, well, things could change very quickly. A lot is riding on Superman. I mean, we're not going to just keep making movies. That is, unless Superman is great. So he's putting a lot of pressure on himself. That's why I'm surprised he's not fucking bald now. I mean, his hair went from brown to gray in, you know, during COVID time. I mean, from like the last Guardians to no, not the last Guardians, but from Guardians 2 to like the Suicide Squad, his hair just went, you know. I mean, of course, there was a lot of other shit that was happening, so maybe that had something to do with it. I'm just surprised it hadn't fallen out yet. Maybe it did, and he's just wearing a fucking wig or something like that. Who knows? But a lot of pressure, and it is true, and I feel for the guy. I feel for the guy. I mean, this is probably one of the reasons why he didn't want to do it at first. But then it's like, fuck it, let's try to do this thing. I think I got something right here. And I know there's some people that are just going, they're licking their chops going, it's going to fail, it's going to fail. Again, this is a filmmaker that has a lot of pressure on him, that is trying to put out his artistic voice. And even if you don't like that voice, I don't know. I just can't root for a filmmaker to fucking fail. I don't know. That's just me. That's just me. You know, I'm all about the artistic integrity and all that stuff like that. I thought that's what it was all about. But, yeah, I just, you know, and I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for him, you know. But there is, you know, the odds are against him. The odds are against him. I'm not going to say that there's not, the odds aren't against him, but the odds are. So there is a good chance that it just might not even work out. But that would be kind of like crazy. And then it was kind of funny, too, because he did mention in some of these interviews as well, that when it came to Supergirl, let's see if I could find it here. There was one when it came to Supergirl. He talked about Supergirl. Where is it at? Where is it? I don't know. Went back too far. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through my Twitter right here. Oh, yeah, there was one thing, too, when he talked about dropping the legacy from the title. He said, I thought maybe the title was they had a looking back feeling about it. So when he was thinking about legacy, again, talking about influence on all the previous live action Supermen, you know, that's why you wanted to have Superman Legacy. And this isn't about looking back. This is about looking forward. So instead of just like going like, oh yeah, it's the legacy of Superman, there's still going to be very much something there. And even in the story points, he talks about how, like, you know, he's talking about like his actual parents, his Kryptonian parents, and then of course his human parents. That's going to be emphasized as well when it comes to the movie. But yeah, right here he talked about Supergirl being the second DCU film. He said, I didn't necessarily know that Supergirl would be the second movie we were going to make, but Anna, the writer, wrote an incredible script. Other movies have been written, but they haven't been as good as this one. So there's a lot. I mean, it seems like when it comes to Superman and Supergirl, hopefully, I mean, no matter what, Supergirl is getting made for sure. So there you go, guys. There you go. That's pretty much a lot of it right there. So yeah, 6 a.m. tomorrow, my time. That's where it goes. And then, of course, he did post this video right here. Forgot about this.
Hey, everybody. James Gunn here. And as you may have heard, I've been working on a Superman film. This project is so much more than just another movie to me. It's a story about humanity, about what it means to be a hero in a world that doesn't always make it easy to be one. I can't wait for you to see it. The heart, the action, and the incredible performances from David Corenswet, Rachel Brosnahan, Nicholas Hoult, and the entire cast. So set your reminders, tell your friends. You can see the Superman teaser trailer tomorrow.
There you go. Message from Jimmy Guns right there. Hoping for the best. Hoping for the best. Like I said, the only gripes I had with the teaser of the tease was just those outside shots of the extras looking up. I was just like, it just doesn't look good. Just didn't look good to me. Other than that, I like the inside shots, and I like the aesthetic, and I'm okay with the color grade. I can't believe we're talking about that again, because goddamn, how many times did we have to defend Snyder's color grade? Now we're defending. Now I'm defending James Gunn's. I mean, I guess I'm just one of those where I defend the filmmaker. I don't know. So be it. So be it, I guess. But still talking about DC news. Hey guys, now that we're done talking about all that, and look forward to my trailer reaction tomorrow morning. I'll be posting it, of course, shortly after it drops. Matty Reeves, baby. Matty Reeves. Okay, so I think, can we find, I mean, I guess until like it is fully ready to go, but we just need to stop because, I mean, this past week, people were talking about how they're still going to merge his Batman into the DCU and it's still going to be happening and all this. No, it's not happening. It's not freaking happening. It's not happening. And thankfully, Matt Reeves was talking to Zoe Kravitz on, Variety, director to director kind of thing, because she directed her movie that came out this past year, which apparently led to her, breaking off her engagement with Channing Tatum because they worked together and maybe that didn't go that well. And I don't know. I'm not going to look into those details, but obviously it was kind of cool that they paired them together, since Matt Reeves directed as Catwoman. And of course, they talked about Batman, and they talked about how, like, when he was writing the first Batman script, as he was writing it, he had Robert Pattinson already in his head. Even though, of course, you have to do the casting process, he was like already visualizing Robert Pattinson as his Batman, which I thought was cool. And of course, there's mention of, they're actually talking about doing a Penguin season 2. I mean, obviously they're going to do that. I'm sure there's pressure from the studio, like, hey, this was a hit. Let's do that. But, let's bring up this little video right here. Let's bring up this little clip right here from their little interview.
I just asked you how it's going with writing, and you said slow, and I think that's a wonderful quality because you care so much.
It's wonderful, except for the speed of getting something done.
I know, but wouldn't you rather, take your time and have it be...
The thing is that for me, I feel like it's not a choice. Like, I always feel like I would never do it the way I'm doing it, except that that's the only way I know how to do it. You know what I mean? Like,
I just asked you how it's going with writing, and you said...
So there you go. He's admitting he's taking his time. He's taking his time, guys. It's fine. Let Matt Reeves cook, as the kids say. Let him cook. Let him cook. Okay? So I think we're good. Let him cook. And then apparently, it has been revealed too. Let me see if I can find it here. Where was it at? Where was it? I saw it. It's going to be shooting this year. He says he actually did say in that same exchange, he did say that they are shooting next year, not this year, next year. Obviously, there's not that much time left in this year. They're shooting next year, and it was on some kind of like website too that was actually mentioning like they're going to be shooting in London and all that kind of stuff. So we can relax. I think we could fully relax. And it's kind of funny too, because even in that same video, he even said like he's finishing the script. Okay. So a lot of people are thinking like, well, wait a minute. Didn't he say the script was finished? Well, maybe, sometimes, when you're being interviewed, you just say some shit. Sometimes shit just happens and people just end up saying the wrong things or something like that. And then, James Gunn, of course, was like, he's only seen portions of the script and everything like that. The whole thing where people were thinking that Matt Reeves is going to get he's going to get shit canned and he's just going to lose everything that he was building up and all that stuff like that. Fuck off with that. I mentioned a tweet that I saw from somebody that it was part of the whole Snyder Cut stuff like that. And I was just like thinking that Matt Reeves is going to get Zack Snydered. I mentioned that on Monday and I was like, I couldn't believe I read something like that from somebody who was very familiar with what happened. I'm like, not even close. It's like Matt Reeves is very much going to be a part of DC Studios moving forward with his movies and spinoffs, and then being producers on other content that's coming out. It just seems like, you have somebody like Matt Reeves who's an excellent storyteller. Yeah, sure, he might take his time and everything like that. Yeah, and it can, in this world where everything is moving at lightning speed and we get information just, interfaces like instantly. It's just, yeah, I know, I get it. We get a little impatient. I totally understand that, but it just seems like Matt Reeves is like James Gunn is like, no, you are not going anywhere. I'm holding on to you. I'm holding on to you for dear life, man. I'm holding on to you. And you damn well should, for God's sakes. So I think we're good. So we're good. And apparently the teaser, just to wrap all the DC talk, apparently the teaser to the teaser trailer, it was trending #1 on YouTube. So there you go. At least that's happening. It's always good to trend, right? Always good to trend. Anyways, all right. Let's relax on that, and let's talk about what's happening at the box office this weekend. That's right. We got not one, but 2 movies coming out. We got a sequel and a fucking prequel coming out. Obviously, we got Sonic 3 and Mufasa. I have no desire to see Mufasa. I just really don't, you know? And, I mean, when it comes to Christmas Day, there's a lot of movies coming out that week, and luckily I'll have time off work, so I'll probably see multiple movies next week. But, you know, this week I'm only going to see one. Me and my dad, we're going to go see, and again, I love it, Papa Film Junkee. He's retired now, so anytime a movie's come out, I mean, I literally say like, hey, have you seen the Sonic movies? I'm going to go see Sonic 3. And he goes, I saw the first one. I'll watch the second one. I'm like, yeah, I think it's on Paramount or something like that. And sure enough, got a text from my dad, and he goes, we're good to go for Thursday. And I'm like, there you go. So me and my dad are going to go see Sonic 3 tomorrow. That's the one I want to see. I really don't have any desire for Mufasa. I just don't. I saw the first Lion King. It felt empty. It felt empty for me. You know, it's just, I was like, this is just a VFX CGI version. It didn't feel like it was anything. I don't know. It just, I didn't care for it. But I know it's, you know, it's yeah. I forgot who directed. Anyways, we'll get to that. But let's go to the Devil Fruit site and check out some Sonic reviews right here. Currently at an 86% with 51 reviews. With a double helping of Jim Carrey's antics and a Quicksilver pace befitting its character, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is the best entry. What? It's the best entry. Wow, that's what I keep hearing. It's all on social media right here. Ew, good old Mark Hughes right at the beginning. This fucking guy. I'm just reading reviews. Let's not look at the pictures let's not look at their profile pictures that scare me. It lets Carrey be Carrey in all the best ways, and he delights by seeming to be having as much fun doing it as we're having watching it. It lets us escape entirely for 109 minutes and laugh the whole time. Sonic maintains every improvement that the second film made on the first, but amps up the characterizations and pathos to reach new levels. Frenzied action and loopy comedy aside, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 has heart and is aware it doesn't always gotta go fast, occasionally slowing down to ensure we care about these characters while laying out its themes with affecting sincerity. And of course, Movie Bob didn't like it. Not as good as the second one if you were looking for something like a metric for these. Okay. Sonic 3 has its laughs, a few moments of the cheerful and sweet joviality that makes the franchise generally so affable. But it is ultimately forgettable. Even remembering the basic plot is a bit of a chore. Oh, okay, so there's that too. But there you go. I mean, mainly just good stuff like that. We got Austin Burke right here. It delivers everything longtime fans will be looking for. The nods are exciting, and the third act is as action-packed as any this year. Keanu's Shadow is a legit audition to this franchise, and Jim Carrey is working overtime to deliver for fans. That's what makes the franchise for me. Jim fucking Carrey, because I said it before, I'll say it again. It's 90s Jim Carrey. It's 90s Jim Carrey, and he hasn't lost a step. He has not lost a step. So very much looking forward to it. And I'm sure, I think it's going to win the box office. I think it's going to defeat this fucking Disney movie. Mufasa. Yeah, Barry Jenkins. I was like, wait, Barry Jenkins, right? He directed it. Yeah. So currently, Mufasa is just barely fresh on the Devil Fruit site at 60%, with its tomato meter. Barry Jenkins' deft hand and Lin-Manuel Miranda's music go some way towards squaring the circle of life in Mufasa, but this fitfully soulful story is ill-served by its impersonal photorealistic animation style. Yeah, there's just something about it where it just doesn't feel like the first one. It's not really a problem that the title character is the most boring character in the film, though it does give the story the air of political propaganda. Mufasa was the best at everything, which is why he was the best choice for king. Okay. That was weird. It started off bad, but then it got better. There's only so many times you can go back to the well or what made another movie successful before you have to try to make yours stand alone. Jenkins might have been an inspired choice of director, and he's approached the project with admirable degree of sincerity, but even he can't quite wrestle this film away from its creative redundancy. Jenkins does the best he possibly can with the material. I just wish he had directed anything else. Jeez. Despite the impressive team of visual effects artists bringing slightly more life and personality to the character models under Barry Jenkins' direction, this is a rushed, overstuffed, weightless, joyless, nostalgia-pandering, photorealistic prequel. Good Lord. Visually stunning and well cast, the prequel delivers enjoyable moments, but lacks the timeless magic of the 1994 original. Mufasa, The Lion King is an improvement over the 2019 film with an engaging story that isn't a remake and more emotive facial animation of the animals. Well, that's good, because that was one of my complaints too, was like, you have these realistic looking animals, but one of the things that made the original animated movie in 1994 is, the Disney movies, when it came to animals, you had emotion on their face. You didn't have any emotion. I still remember that one shot when Mufasa, falls off the cliff and little Simba yells out, "No!" It's like there was no emotion on that little lion cub's face. It was just kind of like, "No!" That was it. There was like no emotion. There's really no emotion on it. So there you go. I don't know what you guys are going to be seeing. I'm going to see Sonic. I think a lot of us are just like, hey, let's go see Sonic, right? We're all about the Sonic. That's for sure. At least that's what I'm about. So, okay. And then finally, let's talk about this. Go ahead and open this article right here. All right, with all the Superman talk right now, naturally, I mean the timing of this interview article, question, whatever the hell, was asked right here to Jesse Eisenberg. Jesse Eisenberg, of course, had his new movie. When it came, he's got a new movie that's coming out. I can't exactly remember what the hell it was, but he was just on a recent interview with the Armchair Expert when it comes to Dax Shepard, his podcast. He was on there, and he kind of, he talked about, when it comes to Jesse Eisenberg and his Lex Luthor, look, you guys know that Batman vs. Superman is one of my all-time favorite superhero movies. I mean, it's Batman, it's Superman, it's Zack Snyder, it's Ben Affleck, it's Henry Cavill, it's all, and then, of course, you got Wonder Woman, you got everything. When it comes to a DC superhero movie, I mean, let's face it. To me, it's top tier. It's fucking top tier. It's always going to be top tier. And I know, like, when it came to Jesse Eisenberg, and I still remember when he got cast, I think they announced him and Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. They announced that at the same time. I remember. It was like January of 2015, 2014. I don't know. I can't remember. It was 2015 or 2014. I think it was 2014, maybe. Because they started filming in 2014, right? So, yeah, it was like January 2014. And I remember there was a short list when it came to Gal Gadot. And I remember they announced both of them at the same time. And when Jesse Eisenberg was announced, it was like, what? That's a random choice for Lex Luthor. But at the same time, in Zach we trust. He's good at casting. At least I think he's good at casting. And he's good at off-the-cuff casting. And when it came to the reasoning behind that, I mean, I think a lot of it had to do with Jesse Eisenberg's performance in The Social Network, where it was like, oh, okay, if we take like that kind of approach to Lex Luthor in a modern day, a young Lex Luthor in a modern day social media startup type of way, Let's take that approach, and we'll add a little birthright Lex to it with the hair and everything like that. We don't have to have him bald at first. He'll get to bald. You know, we're going to do that whole thing where you do a characterization and stuff like that. And yeah, and I get it. There's a lot of people that just didn't like his performance. Thought it was a little too quirky, a little too weird. I'm not one of those. I'm not one of those for sure. But yeah, he said right here in this interview right here, I was in this Batman movie, and the Batman movie was so poorly received that I was so poorly received, Eisenberg said. I've never said this before, and it's kind of embarrassing to admit, but I genuinely think it actually hurt my career in a real way because I was poorly received in something so public. I've been in poorly received things that just don't see the light of day, but for the most part, no one knows. But this was so public, and I don't read notices or reviews or movie press or anything, so I was aware of how poorly it was received. So there you go. So essentially, he talked about how it just, how it hurt his career. How it hurt his career a little bit. And that's just, I mean, no matter what, I mean, yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, coming from me, who loved his performance in there and thought he was a unique Lex Luthor and understood what was going on in there, I could see what happened. I could see why that's the case. I could see why that's the case. I've talked to numerous people who were just like, yeah, I didn't understand it. I didn't get that performance. I didn't understand it. It didn't gel with me. It's just the way it is, And instead of getting upset for people not understanding it, don't get upset, people. Don't get upset. There's nothing to be upset about. It's like, if you enjoyed it, fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You enjoyed it, that's good. You understood that, that's fine. But don't look down on people that didn't understand it. That's what happens a lot when it comes to fandom now. A lot of people like to look down on others. Like, really? You like that stuff? People like to look down. People look down on people who liked his performance. But now we got people who are looking down on new Superman stuff. It's like, don't do that. It's all just fucking cape shit. Who cares? But, it's just one of those performances, one of those villain performances that I think, like, as the years go on, it's just like, I mean, it's already starting to happen when it comes to Batman vs. Superman, that it's already becoming a cult classic. I don't know, like, again, when people revisit the Ultimate Edition, they go, oh, I get this movie. It's like, yeah, that extra half an hour really helps, doesn't it? It really helps. It really does help. So, it sucks that that's the case. And by the way, his new movie is called A Real Pain that he directed. So he's been promoting that. And actually looks good. I think with Kieran Culkin, I actually do want to see it. Looks like a good story. But, it sucks. It does because, like you said, he's been in other things that were not well received, but they're not as public. When you play a character like Lex Luthor, guess what? That's going to be out there and people are going to be like, Jesus Christ. So, but I think he's still doing fine, and I think there's still, I still think he probably still had fun with the role, and, one of the questions would be, too, is, like, would he ever come back to it? Say there was an opportunity to do something like that. I kind of wonder, would he actually come back to it? Would he actually come back to that role after what he said right here? That's what I'm kind of wondering myself, but I don't know. I think his villain role is very underrated. Absolutely underrated. So kudos to him, though. I'm glad that he's making movies now. He's a director. Jesse Eisenberg, the director. So, and I'm sure he took some knowledge from Zack Snyder. Because who wouldn't? I mean, geez, who wouldn't want to pick that guy's brain? My God. Right? Am I right? All right. Okay, so let's get to some Twitter questions, and it looks like I'm getting some messages from Scott right here. We're not going to be doing DC Fanimated. So Scott's got some things going on right now, so it looks like DC Fanimated is definitely not happening, which is probably a good thing because it's 7:33 right now, and I probably, to fit a members-only stream plus that's probably why, because I saw the message, I saw him send the message, as I was going. So that's why I kind of just was taking my time with a lot of things. So DC Fanimated, well, essentially there's not going to be any DC Fanimated until next year because there's not going to be any Film Junkee Lives for the next 2 Wednesdays because Christmas and New Year's. So there's We'll see, like, you know, in the next 2 weeks, we'll see what's happening. There might not even be, I mean, I think I'll have a Film Junkie Live next Monday, but maybe the Monday after that I might not have one. I don't know. It's the end of the year. There's all, you know, movie news is going to be scarce and stuff like that, so there might not even be that. But no DC Fanimated tonight, and there won't be another DC Fanimated until that, I guess that, the 6th or the 7th? So there you go. So yeah. Anyways, so I just thought I'd make that be known right there. Just thought I'd make that be known for anybody who's like doing that. Are you guys okay? Are we good? We're not fighting in the live chat, are we? Let's not fight in the live chat. No fighting in the live chat. All right. All right, we got Eric. So, Dave, one thing people often forget is the only reason the Man of Steel theme's not a take on Williams' theme is the studio wanted a new one. Ironic, isn't it? One can only imagine that Zimmer's version of what would have been like. By the way, the new teaser of the teaser trend. Why? Yeah, I've always wondered about that too. I've always kind of made fun of that. Like, why do you need a teaser of the teaser? But I get they need to build up things. So, and we got Lane. Yo, Dave, I already know what kind of movie we're getting. Oh, do you? And I'm obviously biased. Yes, you are. But at least I want David to stand out as a good Superman, which he probably worked hard for. Do you think he'll deliver? Yes, I actually do think he's going to deliver. I think he'll be an impressive Superman. Is he going to be the best Superman? And that's up for everybody to, you know, to determine. But I think he's going to deliver. TPK. I am not ready for a giggly superdog loser heroes waste. Loser heroes, why waste their time paying these influencers? Okay, so TPK is very optimistic. So is Sin Wayne, flops incoming. So I don't know if is he talking about Superman and Sonic and Mufasa? I don't know. Sin Wayne. Something tells me if you click on, yep, okay, he's got the banner for Zack Snyder's Super. I'm assuming all it takes is just clicking on the profile to know, like, oh, okay, I know what he's talking about. Why do you got to be like that? Who knows? But, you know, sadly, when it comes to fans, it's like, it's our time now. Kenny, though, says, super can't wait for the Superman trailer. I'm hyped. So, and then, of course, posted the poster, and then posted this poster right here with the Super Family. That's pretty good. Devon Wooter, Dave, Zack Snyder fans are upset that the new Superman teaser trending #1 on YouTube. Do you think those fans will not move on from Zack Snyder? Some of them won't. I think most have already kind of just accepted whatever the hell. Do you think Marvel is nervous because of the new Superman teaser? And Merry Christmas, Dave. Merry Christmas to you, Devin. I don't think they are. I hope they're not. I don't think Marvel is freaked out, or Kevin Feige. I don't. Mr. Nobody, hey Dave, I saw the teaser for Superman and it's definitely good, but I wish they would have given a little bit more. Well, we're going to get the full thing tomorrow. They don't want to give too much. Gotta be honest, though, I missed the breaking the sound barrier sound and effect from it. Yeah, that was a cool little effect. That little side shot of Superman doing that and breaking the sound barrier. I mean, maybe James Gunn put that in there. He might have. You never know. Darkness Under the Wind. Dave, do you believe when the first saga of the DCU comes to a conclusion, they face the same issues with their second saga that the MCU? Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be that, but maybe they'll, you know, plan ahead and they won't suffer as much. Ronnie, what's the first thing Superman movie need to do for you to love it? Just show some awesome Superman fighting action in the sky. Yeah, show him being heroic. Doesn't really have to take that much, but you know, if the flying action looks good, I'm like, all right, there you go. And I mean, we already know Lois Lane looks good. That's a second thing for me. You know, let's face it, the Lois Lanes have always been pretty good. And then Cooper Knox. Pretty sad to hear that Jesse Eisenberg's career took a hit after BVS. I really enjoyed his performance. You and me both, Cooper Knox. You and me both. But, you know, that's just the nature of the beast right there, you know? I mean, even Daisy Ridley playing Ray in 3 goddamn movies, 3 big giant movies, it had an effect on her career, and she's still coming back. She's admitted that it had an effect on her career. Look at Hayden Christensen. Playing Anakin had a huge effect on his career. I mean, Natalie Portman said that playing Padme, that affected her career. You know, sadly, it does have an effect, and sometimes these actors have to like reinvent themselves a little bit because it's so goddamn public. Because so many people see these movies, and now with the age of social media and everything like that, so many people complain about these movies. You know, and that's the thing. It's like, but you know, they have to reinvent themselves and stuff like that. So. It's just the way it is, and it sucks that that's the case, but, you know, hey, what can you do? And was anybody actually surprised because they're still, like, casting for Scream 7? Anybody surprised that Courtney Cox is returning? I think nobody's surprised, right? I remember there was a time where she said, like, I haven't officially signed on yet. It's like, you're going to fucking sign on. We know you're going to sign on. Get the fuck out of here. But anyways, that was news today, too. Again, I've kind of checked out of the Scream. I didn't even see the last Scream movie. But, yeah, they mentioned that right there. I just saw that on my little sidebar right here on good old Twitter. So, anyways, guys, all right. That wraps up today's show. But we'll do a members-only stream after this. And like I said, no DC Fanimated tonight. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And like you said, if you want to become a member, I mean, I do have a little tea when it comes to certain things, you know. So I might have a little bit of tea right there. So if you want to be a part of that, you know, and support the channel, become a member. Of course, I have the Patreon as well. We'll probably be doing like a Patreon members-only stream this weekend, I think, talking about the Superman trailer and everything that's come about. So if you want to be a part of that and support the channel and come on and talk to me for a little bit, we'll probably be doing that as well. So subscribe to the Patreon for early access to, of course, all the videos and stuff like that. And some Patreon exclusive pods and all that kind of stuff. But anyways, members, I'll see you guys in a little bit. It'll be on your feed. And we'll talk for a little bit. And everybody else, I'll see you guys on Friday for the vodka stream. And like I said, look forward to my trailer reaction and a little bit of probably a breakdown for the Superman trailer tomorrow. All right, guys. Love ya. Talk to you later.